Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. I am Crash Rowsell, and it's once again time to crash the Skylands with another episode of Discuss The Skylands here on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of this series. We're getting very, very close to the series finale, by the way. This is only a mini-series. I think we're halfway there now. This is episode 7, I think. Episode 5. I can't keep track of anything. Episode 5 of Discuss The Skylands. Thank you so much for coming back to another episode of this series. Last week we talked about my last Skylander, which kind of transitioned into, a little discussion of how much some certain Skylanders mean to me. Also Discuss The Skylands right here. Look at that, nailing it every time. This week, however, we're going to be getting a little more personal, because I'm literally going to be talking about a Skylander that's very personal to me. And this is a really good story, just because I'm going to preface it saying, at this time, I was 24 years old. Just remember that for this whole story, okay? So right now I'm 29, but at the time I was about 24. Let's say at 24 or 25, I was around that area. So just keep that in mind. So back in that time, financially I was struggling. I wasn't doing great. I wasn't making any really good money. I was basically living paycheck to paycheck to pay my rent and all that stuff. So anytime I had extra money to spend, it was kind of towards like odds and ends I needed, really. Like I would only buy stuff that besides for, food, other essentials and things like that. It was mostly everything I was buying was just rent, bills, and food. That's basically all I could do. I wasn't really buying anything myself. And this was getting close to Christmas. And at the time, I was trying to figure out what to do for my family and all that. And speaking of family, my parents happened to be coming into town. And it was great. I got to see my parents. They don't live here in town, so it was always great to see my parents. So we went to my local Walmart. It was just me and my father. And we went to my local Walmart, and we started looking around for something. I happened to go to the electronics section, and I bounced by, and I saw Winterfest Lobstar on the shelf, because Trap Team had come out earlier that year. A month or two before that. And I looked at it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's a variant. And my father was like, what? I'm like, it's a Skylander. It's a variant of a Skylander. He's like, it's a toy. And I was like, yeah, it's a toy, but you put it on the portal and it comes to life. I'm like, this is a variant. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever see this again. And so I looked at him with a huge grin on my face, and I was like, can you buy it for me? Remember, 25 years old at this time, 24 or 25, asking my almost 60-year-old father to buy me a toy before Christmas. So this is the classic line where the parent would come up and say, oh, Santa will get that for you. And so my dad literally shook his head. He's like, why do you need that? I'm like, because I'm not going to see this again. Spoiler, I'd never seen Winterfest Lobstar again. Like in the package or loose or anywhere. I don't remember seeing him anywhere. So of course, my father, being my father, because he loves me, God bless him. Hello, Dad, if you're watching. You're probably not, but bought it for me. Bought a 24-year-old a new toy. Very funnily enough, a couple years before that, I recently got Giants, and for Christmas, my parents actually got me 2 Skylanders for Christmas. I sent them a picture and said, if you see any of these Skylanders, that's what I'd like for Christmas. So that was when I was like about 22, and I opened up 2 Giants on camera. I opened up Swarm and I think Hothead, if I'm not mistaken. I got those 2 for Christmas. I know Swarm for sure, but Hothead I think was the other one. So like my parents have actually been buying me Skylanders in my 20s, which is great. They don't really buy any of them now because they don't know which ones I have and what's the difference with them, but I look at Winterfest Lobstar and I always remember the fact that my dad didn't understand this game. He didn't understand my obsession with it or why I was playing it and stuff. And this was before I started my actual Skylander channel. I was doing my YouTube stuff on the side, and I was thinking I was going to become super famous with it and all this. And it's really cool looking back on it now is because it just shows that my parents supported me. They just support no matter what. I was wanting this toy that I'm like, I'll never see this again. I'm like, can you buy it for me? And it was only like $14. So like, it's something now that's going to stick in the back of my mind, and something that I think he might remember too. And it's just looking at just show that my parents did a lot for me, and they still do. And looking at them, they are one of my biggest supporters when it comes to my YouTube channel also. Because my mom always knew that it was just a side thing, it's not going to be my #1 job or anything like that. But then when the channel started taking off, both of them just became my biggest supporters. And it's always nice to look back that, like, my dad helped me with one of those and got Winterfest Lobstar. So, like, any video you see Winterfest Lobstar in, you can thank him for it. So, like, the Crash Smash episode from Crashmas, was it last year or the year before? Thank him for that. My variants where I talk about Winterfest Lobstar, I literally say, I love you, Dad. I'm quoting Shrek when I say that, by the way. I love you, Dad. That's what it is. But thank him for that. Anytime you see him just in general, he's actually over there in a case. Sorry, Dad. But it's just really cool that like I can talk to my parents about that stuff and see that it's actually taking off. Like, it's wild that one of the last times they were in town, I was like, oh, I hit 7,000 subscribers. And they were insanely happy. And it's just cool. It's just cool that something that I've been working on as a side project thing that I knew I wasn't going to be like the #1 job career in my life, and who knows, maybe one day it could be. They look at it and they support me in it. They know it's not my #1 source of finance. I'm never going to quit my job and become a YouTuber type thing. Maybe. Sorry. But it's nice that they supported me then and still support me now. And that's why Winterfest Lobster means a lot to me, because this was before Crash the Skylands happened. This was back when I was Pushpin Gamer, which was my old channel before this one. And it's just nice to see that my parents supported me even back then as much as they support me now. And it's wild to look at that. I just look at that one Skylander and it connected all the way up to this very moment, me sitting in front of this camera right now talking to my 7.5 thousand subscribers. Insane. When I'm recording this is 7.5. I don't know what it's going to be at now by the time I upload this. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for this discussion here. It's wild that I can actually sit down and talk to you guys about this. That's what's wild. That I know that I'm going to talk about this and people are going to respond, which it's now your turn. Let me know what Skylander means the most to you in the comments below. There's probably a really good story behind it. I do remember someone talking about Stump Smash. Joseph was his name. When we did the MCF Hour episode, actually. Yes, there we go. It all came back to me for a second there. His aunt bought him Stump Smash, so something that's always going to connect him. So if you have a connection with a Skylander like that, let me know in the comments below. I'd just love to see it. This is going to be a really good, heartfelt episode for everybody. Next week, we're going to talk about our favorite levels. So, there you go. We'll branch out of the niceness and just talk about why I like playing Operation Troll Rocket Steel so much. Oops, spoiler. But y'all knew that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back to that episode next week. Get away from the Fields train. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you all next week and tomorrow, obviously, like I do on the channel. But as always, I bid you farewell.